there a prospect you think that kind of deserves more attention that might be getting a little overlooked at the moment?
As the person responsible for Baseball America's top 10, of course not. I think that everyone, no, I'm kidding. A prospect who is overlooked, who deserves more attention. It's a fair question. I spend so much time thinking about the top of the system, that that it becomes a little bit that I kind of lose sight of some of the rest. I mean, I think that there are prospects who are going to be exciting, right? I think that, like, for instance, I think this year, because he didn't play, Mikey Romero took a major hit in terms of his prospect stock. If memory serves, I think I had him maybe number 5 in the system, 5, 7, something like that, entering the 2023 season, and we didn't get to see him at all. I think that there's a very interesting skill set because he would be a very good defensive player at second base. If he is what he showed in high school, right? We don't know that. Part of the reason why his prospect stock has taken a hit is because we haven't seen him, and he's just a pure hitter, right? And one who had some strength in his swing, and so I think that there are some attributes there that are there's some skills there, some attributes there that could be pretty interesting, and yeah, and so I think that he's someone who certainly is kind of easy to forget. And for that matter, Miguel Blaze, right? Like we don't talk about him at all when talking about the big prospects who are coming with the Red Sox. I think I had him at number 5 entering this season, but it feels like he ranks like 20, right? As little as we talk about him. But that is he's a player with as much upside, with more upside than anyone else in the Red Sox system. And so it will be. I'm always a little leery of shoulder injuries, right? And shoulder surgeries and what that can do to a player's offensive approach. But if he is the same dynamic talent that he had shown at times in 2022, then he's probably overlooked right now.
Yeah, because looking at as you're going through that, back through the Baseball America listing, and right now Romero is with the Red Sox system right now is slid down to 16. But to your point, though, he's had that time where he's missed, and there's been that injury piece.
How about you guys? Who do you have as overlooked?
Overlooked. That's a good question. I like to try to find guys who, because you can find anything you want on Kyle Teal and Marcelo Meyer. Guys like, for example, Hunter Dobbins intrigues me. Being able to talk to him a handful of times. I've never gotten to see him pitch up close, so hoping he gets the opportunity to pitch with Worcester this year to see that. He intrigues me. Rodriguez Cruz, the pitcher, he also. I've more honed in on the pitchers because I'm more fascinated to see what can be developed out of those group of kids. Alan Castro, though, on the offensive side, is another one that it's seemingly, when you saw a highlight of him through social media on Twitter, that the kid's exciting. So those are some of the three. I'm more intrigued by the guys in the lower half of where Sox prospects may have, or Baseball America, and to see how their journeys and how they can develop and kind of grow into what could be that next potential big prospect, or that prospect that's being thrown into a deal that brings the Sox something to help them on the major league level.
Yeah, well, that's very fair. I was at Dobbins's AA debut, which was actually a kind of interesting and fun look because he had been, there's an adjustment to AA, and so he was scattering the strike zone a little bit in the early innings, and was getting close to his pitch count in through 4 innings of work, right? And showed an interesting mix. Like, he had been around the zone, nothing like overwhelming, but solid debut, I thought. But clearly on a pitch count as he's going back out for the 5th. And then, the beauty of the 5-inning requirement for wins is that it creates an urgency in pitchers, because pitchers, I don't think that there's, no matter how much they intellectually downplay the idea of wins, I don't think there's a pitcher in the world who doesn't care about wins and care about the 5 innings. And so in his last inning, Dobbins with the sense of like, the ticking deadline, the ticking, like, the expiring window of his pitch count, ended up really letting it eat. Showed his best velocity of the night at like 94 to 96. Ended up showing like a nice slider, a nice split that like had that were aggressive in the zone and were getting misses in the zone. So that was my one little window of Hunter Dobbins that like was like, oh, I like that was your last inning and it was your best one. Those are fun glimpses to have. So you're right that like again, the Red Sox need to hit on guys like Hunter Dobbins. They need to hit on guys like Elmer Rodriguez Cruz. And then I think that this coming year in the draft, we're probably going to see for the first time since Tanner Houck in 2017, the Red Sox. I would be shocked if the Red Sox did not pick a pitcher before pick number 99 of the draft, which is the highest that they've picked a pitcher in the last 6 drafts.